Chilling words from senior Hamas official Ghazi Hamad, who once served as an informal back channel between Hamas and Israel, forging an unlikely relationship with my next guest, Gershon Baskin, an Israeli peace activist. For 17 years, these two kept a secret line of communication between the two parties, helped end several rounds of violence, even securing the release of an Israeli soldier captured by Hamas in 2006. But that all changed after October 7th, when Hamas raided Israel, killing 1,200 people and kidnapping roughly 240 others who were held hostage. Joining me now, Gershon Baskin, the Israeli peace activist and now hostage negotiator. This is fascinating. I read the New York Times article about your relationship with Hamad dating back to 2006. I'm curious how it began, what your first interaction was with him.
Yeah, I should note that about a year before we actually talked to each other the first time, a first cousin of my wife was kidnapped and murdered by Hamas. And when he disappeared, I was asked by the family to try and help locate him because I'd been working with Palestinians for more than 2 decades. I couldn't help him. Several months later, I met someone from Hamas, an academic from the Islamic University in Gaza. We developed a relationship. And 1 week after the Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit was abducted, this professor of economics called me and said, "Gershon, we have to do something. Let's open up a channel of communication." He went to the Hamas prime minister's office. Later that morning, Ghazi Hamad called me, and that was our first conversation. He spoke to me in Hebrew, which was quite shocking. I told him he could speak English or Arabic. He said he liked to speak Hebrew, and then he proposed arranging a phone call with one of the Hamas leaders and the soldier of the father, which I thought was also quite unusual and interesting. And that phone call took place later that day, and that began our 17-year relationship of more than 1,000 conversations and phone calls and chats and 4 face-to-face meetings over those years.
17 years, and as I read through the article, I can't help but think, given everything that has happened prior to October the 7th, was it a relationship and also a friendship? How did you view it?
I believe that the Israeli government had decided that Hamas would stay in power in Gaza. I think this was a mistake and shouldn't have been done, but this was the strategy of Prime Minister Netanyahu to remove the Palestinian issue from the Israeli agenda. And while Hamas was in control of Gaza, Israel imposed an economic siege on the Gaza Strip, and more than 2 million people were living in poverty. And I thought that we needed to find long-term ceasefire arrangements between Israel and Hamas in order to enable the more than 2 million people in Gaza to have a better life. That was the basis of my relationship with him. And I knew that the more that we developed a trustful relationship between ourselves, the more we could be useful in looking for solutions between the two peoples.
And so you stayed in touch for years. October 7th happens. At any point, did you have a sense that something like that could happen or was being planned?
I didn't. In retrospect, I should have. In the summer of 2021, I had proposed to Ghazi Hamad that we meet somewhere in a country that would allow us to meet in order for us to brainstorm together and figure out how to break the deadlock between the two sides. It almost happened. It was messed up by the country that we thought we would do it in, intervening and preventing him from getting a visa. Afterwards, he got cold feet. And over the last months before the war, I was proposing to him that we meet secretly in Cairo. And at one point, for the first time ever, he said to me, "I can't." It was the first time he ever said, "I can't" to me. And I should have suspected that something was going on. I didn't. I discovered only later that a couple of months before the war, he had even left Gaza to go to Beirut, where he was implanted to be the spokesperson for the war. So he knew about the planning of the war, maybe not the depth of the atrocities that they committed inside of Israel, but he was certainly on the inside of the planning. He's a member of the Politburo of Hamas, the Shura Council, which is the senior decision-making body of the organization, and he became close to Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas in Gaza. So he had to be on the inside, and that was also one of the things that set me off to write a letter to him saying that I no longer wanted to have any contact with him.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.